Good morning, folks. It's Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock, and you know what time? What that means is actually another great episode for Money, Truth, and Moments with the awesome Judy Copenbarger. Good morning, Judy. How you doing?
Awesome. Awesome. Good to be with you, Carlos. Good morning to you.
Great. We have a great show for you guys today. As always, we have great topics. Today, we're going to be talking a very special topic, which I will give you guys here in a moment. I wanted to welcome you to the show. If you're not following Judy, you guys need to follow her. Her website is below here at judycopenbarger.com. And if you do the /truth, there you'll find a great little nugget there for you as well with the specials that she's got going on too. So make sure that you do follow her. She is on social media, Facebook. She's on LinkedIn. She's on YouTube. She's all over the place. She's been a speaker in a lot of great events that she'll talk a little bit about. And she's just been rocking it. And also, she's the #1 bestseller on Amazon for her book, Money, Truth, and Life. So, hey, you've done a heck of a lot in the last several months. So, congratulations on that. I don't know how you're not exhausted. I feel exhausted just talking about it, you know?
No, I feel great. We've got a great team. I'm not doing it all alone, as you know. Great team, great publicity, great opportunities to speak. The other day, I was able to be part of a really great expo. It was in Los Angeles, but it's global. So there will be expos coming up all over the world, but it's Your Best You. So there's Jack Canfield, there's Les Brown, there's me, there's David Fagan. You know, all the greats are involved in helping people take their lives and businesses to the next level. And it's been so wonderful to work with these people. It was a 7-day expo. I mean, it went on 100
Wow.
speakers. Yeah, it was great. And there's more to come. So it's been a really fun week being part of that, and just happy to spread the word. It's awesome.
Excellent. And we're happy to have you here taking time to actually create this show for Money Truth Moments, because in the last several months, folks, you guys have been following us. There's been a lot of great discussions, a lot of great content. And although I love talking about all these great topics, one of my favorite pieces has always been our weekly challenge, which we'll get to later on in the show. So you got to stick around for that as well too. So all right, with that said, let's talk a little bit about, we've been talking in the last couple of weeks about things that are happening during this particular pandemic, the way people are addressing things too. And one of the things that's come up is how folks feel about their money and finances, right? They're becoming even more unhealthy, more debilitating, and even paralyzing at times. Maybe you can talk to us or take us down a little bit of a path to address those folks who are feeling like unprepared, right? They've done all this all their life, but all of a sudden here we are. This was completely unexpected, completely out of left field. How do we help those folks who feel like that are unprepared?
Wow. Well, there's so many ways that this pandemic has touched people's lives. You know, obviously relationships, losses. We lost a dear friend just in this last week to COVID. Um, we've had clients, you know, suffering. You know, obviously businesses are trying to keep their doors open or trying to figure out what to do next because they couldn't. There are people that are really hurting. Not everyone, not every sector is affected negatively, and not every family is affected negatively. But there's definitely that overwhelming feeling financially, I think, globally. But I think when you're thinking about how people could be prepared, depends on where you are. If you're a student, you know, it's like, do I go to school? Do I not go to school? Right now, they're trying to figure that out, even on college campuses. How are we going to do this new thing in a safe way? So I think financially, it's really about being um, prepared with cash. You know, I think, you know, we have investments and we have plans and we have legal documents and things like that. But I think cash is king. And when you have money or you have money available to you, it frees you up a little. It gives you more options. It doesn't mean that you get to control the world and, you know, hide away. But when you have money, you have more choices. Maybe to travel to some place where you want to spend, you know, some time with family, or to, you know, replace a vehicle that you've been needing to replace, or just to pay the employees that, you know, you don't want to have to let go after working for you for so long. So it really depends on if you're a student, if you're a business owner, if you're just a family, you know, trying to get by. People that don't have savings have a lot less opportunity and a lot less options than people that have cash. And if you're a business, or even as a personal, you know, just individual, if you have reserves available at the bank, if you have an opportunity to do a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit against your house. If you need to get your hands on money, you can have it. For businesses to have a line of credit, a LOC, just to have it available when you need it. And the companies, small businesses that had lines of credit available come March, come April, early May this year, were the ones that were already in line to get their money on capital when they needed to keep, their business open or retrofit it,
Right.
the new regulations. The ones that didn't, they got in line too late and they couldn't get their money in time, and that really cost them. So I would say cash is king, having reserves available. Obviously, we can always have savings, which is going to be part of our story a little bit later today. Having savings
Right.
available and always having cash you can get your hands on at home, or in your safety deposit box or in the bank.
That's great. You mentioned something also about as we think about this, what's probably a good strategy that you can give our viewers to maybe how to get started in that saving process,
Yeah.
how to get started in not only in the business aspect of it, but in family wise, right? How do we get the savings going? How do we get this action plan started? And maybe in just in a brief summary, you can kind of guide folks or point them in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just paying yourself first. We all have bills we have to pay. We have our cell phone bill and we have our housing bill and we have gas. Every month there's things that we pay. Why not pay ourselves? Even if it's a 1% or 2% little cut, why not pay ourselves money that's going to actually go into savings? And I mean real savings. Like you don't pull it out when you get a flat tire. It's real savings for long term for when you need it in the future. It might help to have a bank account that's not, or a savings account that's not attached to your regular cash flow account or where your paycheck comes in. So every month the money automatically goes over to your savings account, maybe even at a different bank or credit union. So you're not driving by it, 8 times a week. So it's really
Right.
saving, you're not pulling it out of the wall, like the kids say. Just go pull it out of the wall, mom. Right. So to have savings really be savings and pay yourself as part of a regular bill. Why not do that? And it accumulates quicker than you think.
Wow, that's excellent. That's excellent. Tell us also, for folks that are feeling obviously stressed out, what's a good way or a good option to really educate yourself during these times? Obviously, watching our Money Truth Moments is a great resource because we've covered a lot of this throughout the several weeks. But currently, if folks are feeling that stress or feeling overwhelmed, what are maybe some good resources or things that they can do to kind of help themselves really?
Yeah. Well, obviously, our online mastery course, is great. So it's the Money, Truth, and Life online mastery program. It teaches you everything about insurances and legal entities and trusts and investments and all the different kinds of IRAs and all the different kinds of retirement programs that might be available at your work. And what's an HSA and why should my health insurance, have that? So there's so many things that you can learn in that program. Obviously, it's self-interested for me to say that, but I created it because the information out there in the world is not always accurate and it's really not helpful. It's usually going to take you down a path that's going to end up with a transaction for somebody that sells whatever it is they're trying to get you to buy. But I think that would be a great thing. Anytime, like in the area of taxation, there are so many financial entities and so many banks that will tell you about taxes and personal private firms. But what you really want to do is go to the irs.gov site. If you have a question about tax, go there. If you have a question about Social Security, go there. Go to the Social Security site and read their white papers. Don't listen to what everybody else says because usually they're still putting you on a path
Mm-hmm.
to do something at the other end. And the information
Right.
can often be inaccurate, but at least misleading to frighten you enough to get you to act. And the two big motivators for people, and all salespeople know this, they want to either make you afraid or appeal
Sure.
to your greed. It's either fear or greed or both. And if they can get you scared enough to take action, then they win and you buy whatever they're selling. If they get you thinking, wow, gold was 200 and now it's 2000, I should buy it. Why would you buy it when it's 2000 if it was 200 before, right? Why are
Mm-hmm.
they buying it all? Why are they selling it to you? So that's where you just got to consider the source, when it comes to investing and things like that. But I think always going to the heart of where the good information comes from would be well advised for any resource there.
And it's funny because you mentioned fear and greed.
Mhm.
Every person that I've ever talked to, I think, since I started my business, has either come across to me through either greed or through fear.
Sure.
And one of the most memorable moments I've had was with an individual. And I don't want to say that they were a lending company, but they were related to businesses, that they were starting for loans and all of that for businesses. And he kept pushing really hard, for me to take out this, I think he said it was a $200,000 loan. And I'm like, why do I need a $200,000 loan when I'm getting started? And right out of the gate, I'm going to be in a $200,000 hole. Right. And he says, no, but you need this and you need that because of your business. And I said, well, why can't I do it in small steps? And so every question that everything that he kept throwing at me, I kept countering with something logical. Like, for me, this is how I think. And it got to the point where I think I frustrated him so much because I was asking valid questions and I just didn't sign on the dotted line, that he said, well, bottom line is, if you don't take my loan, your business is going to crumble in less than 6 months. I said, okay, that's a chance I'm going to take. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
How long ago was that?
Oh, Lord, this was probably about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And here I am, still standing. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks that really prey on that fear. And if you don't hold your ground, or and let's face it, we're all human. There's that, sometimes we're in that desperate moment where we don't see a way out. And if the first person that comes to you is, you're going to sign on just because you want to do what's best for your family. But I think the takeaway here for folks to remember is to take your time, really do your homework, because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one stuck with that debt. It's not going to be them. It's going to be you. And there's a lot of great folks. The Mastery Program is definitely a program that folks need to really take a look at. I also want to say that the another great resource also available is also your book, Money, Truth, and Life, because this really breaks things down by chapters. It makes it really user-friendly. I'm no finance guy, and I will honestly tell you that there's certain things I will never get involved with. One is, like fixing our own home, which my wife always tells me, why don't you fix this and that? And I'm like, well, I could try, but by the time I'm done, we're going to hire somebody who's going to cost us 3 times as much because we should have done it that way in the first place. There's certain things that just, you don't mess with, that's what God gave everybody their own different talents. And finance happens.
The guy.
Exactly. And finance happens to be one of those. It's like, okay, there is so much to the finance world. And for me, I'll be the first one to tell you, it's scary. When you talk about investing, when you talk about savings is what we learn growing up and all that, but there's other aspects of that too that you don't really think about. And it takes somebody with that know-how, that wisdom, and somebody who's actually very truthful. And I'm not just saying this because you're here, but someone like you who is a money guy that will guide folks the right way to do the right things, as opposed to, hey, I'm just another number and another paycheck to you on a monthly basis just for you to keep going, And I think that's the difference between us and a lot of folks, is that we really care for, who's on the other side of the table as well too, just to kind of give them that,
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing some of those resources. I'd like to really move on now, because I'm really excited about this. I want to move on to our weekly challenge. One of my favorite parts of the show. It's our weekly challenge, folks. And last week we had a great one for you guys. It was all about being grateful, having gratitude. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but we talked about there was 4 pieces to our challenge. Yeah. And one was for us to write down what we're grateful for, something tangible that we were grateful for.
Right.
Something intangible, such as like the weather, things like that as well. Also a person that we're grateful for, and also making sure that we let that person know. That was number 4. Yeah. Right. So if you don't mind, I'd love to share what I how I did my homework this week, for sure.
I waited all week to hear what you were going to say. I talked to a lot of people this week and got texts and some LinkedIn messages about what came up for people, but I was looking forward to hearing what came up for you. So how'd it go?
Yeah, and I love. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, but I also like to hear some of the things that you heard as well too.
Oh,
So
goodness.
we
Yeah.
so we started this last Tuesday.
Yeah.
I've had a heck of a week, and you don't know this, but now you're going to know how all of this fits into play. So my son ended up getting a leg fracture last Tuesday evening. Right, he went swimming to his friend's house,
Oh, no.
and he ended up getting a fractured leg. And I've been playing nurse all week long with him, right? Just
Wow.
because he can't move around or anything like that. So it was actually a perfect timing because it really got me to think about a lot of what I'd done through my life. And I would say this because, my mom growing up was handicapped. So I took care of her in a lot of ways, even to before she passed away, the last 3 years of her life, I was literally taking care of her because she was by herself. So she had a stroke. She was bedridden. So you can imagine everything that I had to do as a son that normally you would have your somebody else doing it for her. But granted, she did it when I was a kid. That's the way I looked at that too. So, I was looking at my son as I'm going through all of this with him every morning, feeding him breakfast and all that. And so when I looked at part one of this, the tangible is I'm really grateful for the fact that I have my health, and I'm as strong as a horse to be able to do some of this for him. The intangible thing is it's my ability to just really be there and fortunate enough to be home working as well and take good care of him, so he doesn't feel alone or go through this, because it's been very frustrating for him. Just the fact that he's in a lot of pain. And I think that one of the things that really struck me was one of these evenings, and I'm sure he would kill me if he heard me talk about this on the air, but he was just really emotional, right? He was just really emotional and just hugged me really tight, crying, just saying that how much he loves our family, how much he loves the fact that I'm there for him, that I'm an awesome dad and all that. And I got choked up. I don't hold back with that. And it was just one of those moments where it's like, oh, it just gets to your heart, and it just, we'll do anything for our kids. That if our kids are hurt, I'd rather take the pain than have them go through anything with that.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for him allowing me the opportunity, for me being a dad, being there for him. But it also, in having gone through this, I shared with him, fortunately enough, I said, I'm an unregistered nurse. And he started laughing. He goes, what does that mean? Well, when your grandmother was alive, I did all of this for her. I'm already used to doing all this. So this isn't nothing new to me as far as taking care of you. So another, and the last point of this was, and I was actually waiting for today's show to tell you this, is I didn't call you last week for a purpose. I wanted to actually just tell you this on the show, that I am very grateful for you. I look forward to our Tuesdays conversations. You have been a great inspiration for me and our family, not only through your program and what you talk about, but also as a person who I now consider really a friend. And just learning a lot from you, your energy level, always being positive. I feed off of that too, and that also helps, in the everyday, every week of our lives too. So I wanted to personally thank you for that, and I'm very grateful for you and our relationship. So that's my week. It's been a crazy week for sure.
Was a crazy week, and I'm grateful for you as well. Wow. You've had a lot going on behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like you don't have enough to do already with your business and taking care of all your clients. So yeah, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, right? And I think
Absolutely.
the occasion, when we want to, we rise to the occasion, and I think we're all capable of so much more than we do most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
You're absolutely right.
What a week.
Well, yeah, exactly. How did it go for you? You said you had clients, maybe share, or folks?
I did. Yeah, it was, we had several health issues, and then we had, a close friend pass away, and we had over the weekend, we have 5 children. And so our third child is wanting to get married. And so his love interest, who lives many states away, came out and spent time with the family here, and they did the beaches and spent time here on the farm. And that was great. Just kind of, imagining our family in 2 or 3 or 5 years just growing, which is so exciting to
That's awesome.
have these young adult children launch, and they've all got businesses and all kinds of things that they're doing to make the world a better place. So it was a great weekend, and the weather's been amazing. So I can't complain. Can't complain. It's
That's
all good.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Hey, so what have you got for us for our challenge this week?
Oh, we're going to have a fun challenge this time. So, we talked a little bit today about the power of having cash reserves, having savings and
Right.
things like that. So I think the challenge will be to build up our savings. I think that will really serve people well in a time like this to be better prepared next time, because it might not be COVID again. It might not be a virus again, but there will be something that shifts. It's always shifting. Our economy is a moving, changing thing. And sometimes
Right.
through no fault of our own, we find ourselves needing, to find more work or create a new business or kind of change direction. So savings helps when we have transition. Maybe it's coming out of school or getting ready to go to school. Or, when our family grows, we have baby or, like us twins, show up. So having savings helps when there's transition. So let's help people get prepared that way. So here's what we're going to do. Here's your challenge this week. First thing, create a goal for savings. Like, what's that number that when you have it in the bank, you can sleep really good at night, both of you, if you're married, right? So you might have different numbers.
Mhm.
Take the highest one. Maybe it's 5,000, maybe it's 50,000, 20,000. If it's around 3 months or more of your basic expenses, like what do we need to keep this house going and keep going every month? 3 of those, would be a really good start. The number might be much higher than that just for peace of mind. So whatever you agree your number is, write that number down. Now that you have your number, figure out how much you have in your expendable cash every month in your budget and your spending plan. How much do I have left over that I actually could save? Beyond what I'm doing in my 401 at work or my IRA, if you're self-employed, what could I afford to put into savings or cash reserves each month? So let's say your goal is $5,000. I want to have 5,000 in the bank, and that's a good number to start with if you're reboot
Mhm.
or if you're starting out. But I have $300 a month that I don't need for, paying down debt or for my expenses. It's 300 I could save. So you just make a plan to put $300 a month into a real savings account, not the in and out one, the real savings account. And so in a year and a half, you're going to be there, maybe sooner, because some months you'll have more left over, or there will be a tax return or a gift, or, money, extra money shows up sometimes. You get, money back from the utility company, or like recently, a lot of people got money back from their insurance companies for their car insurance and house insurance. It was just like, oh,
Right.
here, I'm going to give you some back. It's great. So money shows up sometimes like that. So the second thing, so now you have your number that you're going for and how much you're putting in each month as a goal. The second thing will be how will you feel when that bucket is full? Now you're there. It's been a year and a half and you diligently save and you have
Yeah.
$5,000 in the bank. Oh my goodness. Every day you wake up, it's there. Do you feel free? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel accomplished? Do you feel proud? How do you feel now that that goal is achieved? The next thing is, what would a barrier be? So if my plan is to save $300 every month for a whole year and a half, like all those months, what could come up that would keep me from finishing that goal, from achieving that goal?
Mm.
What
Okay.
would a barrier be? And then how am I going to work around it? Maybe I end up having, I have to fix something in the kitchen or something on my car. It's like, well, that month I didn't get a save. Next month I have a dentist bill. Well, then I didn't get a save. So the barrier might be you kind of lose steam, you lose momentum, or maybe you get behind in your plan. How would you overcome the barrier? How would you get back on track? So if you lose focus, you could have a sign on your rearview mirror in your car, or maybe on your mirror in the bathroom that you're going to see every day that says $5,000, $5,000. But
That's a
maybe
great idea.
on your TV, if you watch your TV every night, buy that. So every day it's like, I'm getting closer. Even if I save $5 today, I'm closer to that goal. And that might help keep the focus if that's a barrier that you think might come up. Another thing would be if you have an emergency need for money, and that $300 you can't save for some reason, you could just recommit to that goal. have a plan to say, if I lose focus, if I lose my momentum, I'm going to recommit. And then every month, challenge yourself. If I was saving 300 next month is going to be a little more than last month. 301 would do it, or 350.
Right.
If I do 350, then 351 the next month, and just make it a game. There's so much power to playing a game as opposed to doing, an activity that we
Right.
might something in our head about. Make it fun. So if every month at 300 is a goal and every month you save more than 300, you're going to get there even quicker. So that's the goal. Figure out how much you want to have. What are you going to do every month? And what's your plan for if it blows up, getting back on track? And we'll see how that goes. I can't wait to hear.
No, that's a great plan. That's a great plan. And I like the fact that it also doesn't put a lot of pressure because we're doing this in baby steps. The way you broke it down. I think it's great. And I think it's totally doable for folks. So you've heard the challenge, folks. You guys got to make sure that you do it, because we want to hear all about it in the next coming weeks, just to see how that's working out. And as a matter of fact, we're going to do this probably maybe in a month from now, just so we give folks the opportunity to get started, get enough time going, and see how that first month goes. If we can make it over 300, heck yeah, let's do it, for sure.
That's great. And
so
be prepared for next time, right? That's what it's all about.
That's true. That's exactly what it's all about. You're right. Yeah. Hey, so with, I know, again, you probably have an amazing, busy week. What do you have that's coming up that we should look forward to?
I've got a couple of podcasts that I'm the guest speaker on. I've got one I'm excited about with Uwe Dockhorn out of Germany. It airs all over the States, but all over Europe as well. And these principles, they're not just about US dollars. They're principles that help families get collaboration and unity and harmony around money. And it's amazing when you it's not about the money, even though we're putting principles together, when you do that, what shows up, the peace, the freedom that shows up for people, and how their families get better. Well, even like at your house, we're talking about money, but then you have this moment with your son that, it's related, but it's not necessarily a technical, save your money, invest your money kind of a thing. It's just powerful. So anyway, I get to do that, and that's going to air all over the world, and I'm really excited about that one. And then I've got my show next Tuesday right here. Money Truth.
That's right.
Yep.
And what we're going to try to do, folks, just so you know, follow Judy at judycopenbarger.com. We're trying to get a lot of these podcasts and interviews that she's got going on for you guys to be able to watch as well. We're going to be posting this on her social media. And take a look also at judycopenbarger.com/truth, so you can find out more about her program, and really it's going to be able to help you. It's going to also be able to help you with this challenge, because there's a lot of great wealth of information on the book as well too, and on her website. There's a lot of free videos. There's a lot of great content. So if you really want a great resource to go to, please go to her website, follow her at judycopenbarger.com. I'm sad to say we're coming to the end of the show. I always have a blast talking to you. So I want to thank you for your time today. We're ready to go on the challenge. And any last parting words for us?
No, and it's my pleasure, Carlos, to be here. I think the parting words would have to be, keep a positive attitude this week. It seems like there's things in the news and things happening in cities that is just so upsetting and depressing. And I think there's a lot of hopelessness for people kind of watching all that unfold. But just keep a positive attitude. This too shall pass. We've had tough seasons before in our cities and in our country. Every time we have an election, there's a lot of polarizing and a lot of negativity from all kinds of people and all kinds of entities. So I would say just be positive, find one or two things every day that you're grateful for, and keep your chin up, and just know that on the other side of whatever you're going through, there is a brighter tomorrow, and make it great. Every day, just make it great.
Great wisdom from you. So I appreciate that, folks. Again, follow Judy at judycopenbarger.com. This has been another great episode. And remember, we're here every Tuesday at 8 a.m. So don't forget, mark your calendars, tell your friends. And until next week, we will see you guys.